All right, let's talk about something we all think we understand, grades. But today, we're going to look beyond the grade and explore something that's often right at the heart of how we perform, but it's completely invisible. We're talking about the burden of effort.
Think about this for a second. Everyone sees marks, but no one sees effort. It's such a simple sentence, but wow, is it profound. It really forces you to ask, what are we actually looking at when we see a final grade?
So, to really get this, let's start our story by looking at how a simple label can pretty much define a student's entire world.
So meet Ravi. Now in his classroom, he wasn't really just Ravi. Nope, he had this label that was stuck to him like glue. Low scorer. It's a harsh, simple way to define a whole person, isn't it?
And this was the number that defined him. 45. You know, this wasn't a one-time thing like a bad day. This was his pattern. A constant nagging number that reminded everyone, including himself, what they thought his limit was.
And, of course, with that number came all the judgments. It was this constant, soul-crushing feedback loop. From his teachers, the advice was always the same old thing. You just have to study harder. And from his classmates, the verdict was even more brutal. He's just not intelligent. It seems so obvious to everyone on the outside.
But that's just what everyone saw. That's not the whole picture, not even close. Now we're going to pull back the curtain and look at the part nobody was seeing, the unseen effort.
And this is where it gets really eye-opening. What they saw? A low score. Not intelligent, just 45 marks. But the hidden reality? That was him waking up at 4 in the morning to study. It was him reading the same pages over and over and over again, trying to make it stick. It was the silent tears, the confusion, and being terrified to even raise his hand in class. The advice to study harder? He was already trying as hard as he possibly could.
So you have this kid struggling completely in silence, and that brings us to the moment where everything is about to change. The turning point.
The big change didn't come from a new textbook or a stricter schedule. It came from a new teacher, and it all started with a single, powerful question. It wasn't, "Why are your marks so low?" It was simply, "Where are you getting stuck?"
And that was it. That one question, full of genuine curiosity instead of judgment, it changed the entire game. For the first time, someone wasn't focused on the bad grade. They were trying to understand the reason for it.
So what happened next? Well, this is the best part. This is what happens when you finally look beyond the grade.
See, this new teacher didn't just throw more work at him. She taught him differently. It was a patient, methodical approach. They broke everything down, step by step. They made sure he really got one concept before they moved on to the next one. They were building a real foundation, not just cramming for a test.
And the result of this whole new approach? Well, here's another number for you. But this time, it's 75. What a jump, right? It was something tangible, something everyone could finally see.
But here's the thing, and this is maybe the most important part of this entire story. That 75 was awesome, for sure, but the real victory? It wasn't the number. It was the feeling that someone finally saw his effort. He felt seen. That immense hidden struggle finally mattered to someone else.
And this brings us right back to the beginning. It leaves us with this final thought. Next time you see a student's marks, ask yourself, did I see their effort? It's a challenge, really, for all of us, to look past the final number, to see the person behind it, and to try and understand that invisible story that is always, always there.